In this video, I'm going to talk about opinion testing for advertising. The reference for this is the book Making Ads Pay by the famous copywriter John Caples. With opinion testing, what you're doing is you're showing ads to people and you're asking them which ad is best. What ad do they prefer? This is very different from the typical type of advertising test that you would run, where, for example, you would A/B split test and show one random group of people a particular headline and another random group of people a different headline. And then you would measure how many coupon redemptions there were, how many purchases there were, how many leads came in, something like that. With this, you're really just asking for opinions. You're not measuring behavior. You're not measuring conversions. There are a number of advantages. So one is you get to actually talk to people. And one of the key things here is you get to ask them why they voted as they did. So if you just did something like a basic survey or an A/B test, you're going to see the results, but there's really not much insight into why they're voting in a particular direction. But when you're able to chat with people, you do get some insights there. Another thing that you can get from this is you're able to discover if headlines or pictures are confusing or misunderstood. So often as advertisers, we know the products very well, we know language very well, but that doesn't mean that it's being communicated accurately to the target audience. We get some insights there. And another key thing is that it's quick and cheap. Asking somebody's opinion, just walking over to them, for example, is very easy to do. It's very easy to collect opinions nowadays through things like Facebook. Now, the challenge here is that it's not always accurate. People have certain biases that are going to lead you in the wrong direction. So, for example, they tend to vote for ads with pictures, but often text-based ads will outperform those with pictures. So that limits the accuracy of the results that you get. They also tend to vote for ads that look like ads. And often what we see in the advertising world is ads that look like editorials or they look like they're magazine articles will outperform ads that stand out as advertisements. They also tend to vote for ads that look like ads they've already seen. They vote for things that look familiar, even though the unfamiliar ones may actually perform better in the actual advertising context. Another key hesitation, and this is something David Ogilvy also discusses, is that people tend to give answers that make themselves look good. So for example, if you ask them which appeal they like better, get rid of body odor versus get clean, they'll tend to go with get clean because the other would imply that they have bad body odor and they don't want to present themselves in a bad light. They also would tend to avoid ads that make them appear selfish, even though we know that self-interest is perhaps the standard high-performing types of headline. Now, they would also have a preference for clever ads. So often newbie copywriters, advertisers tend to try to come up with things that are clever, but often those don't perform as well because they're confusing, they're poetic, they don't get to the point, they don't get to the self-interest appeal. And lastly here, people tend to have a distaste for the unfamiliar. So you come up with something bold, you come up with something very interesting, people aren't going to vote for it simply because it's not familiar, even though those kinds of bold, innovative ads may outperform in the real market.